Hello and welcome to Brand X Reviews. Today I have another James Bond related vinyl record review, and this one is the Skyfall soundtrack from 2012 by Thomas Newman. And I'll get into some details about the actual music as I'm going through this. But if you're interested in this kind of thing, there is a video talking about James Bond music on vinyl I did a year or two ago on the channel. This one wasn't in my collection at the time, so it wasn't included. And I'm really happy with this one because it's not rare as such. You can get it. I ordered this off Amazon, so that doesn't really make it rare, but to get it at a decent price is pretty rare because this goes for about £60 normally if you get this brand new, and I got this brand new. But somehow I managed to get this for about £20. I have no idea how I managed to do that. There were others apparently at the time, although they seem to have vanished. They've gone back up to 60 again, so I don't know if somebody screwed up. But this is the American version. I have seen one in the shops that has a cover very much like this rather than this in the UK. But it's nice to have an alternate version. And this is the, I think they're called Buzz sticker. Buzz stickers, and that's what this is. Obviously I've torn this off and it's got a bit of information on there, and apparently this is only, well, limited to 500 copies. And we'll have a look at the actual record properly in a moment, but as you can see, that's got the actual the pattern there. It's a coloured record. So, and also it says here it's got a stunning 3D pop-up gatefold jacket, which is actually quite impressive. So let's have a look at that now, because obviously a gatefold means it opens like a book. Let's get focus in first, that might help. Here we go. So that is really quite nice actually. So I can see why this is quite expensive normally anyway, like I say. So to get this for £20 is quite interesting. Let's have a look at some of the artwork on the back as well. I think the CD that I got a few years ago of this, because I do own all the James Bond music on CD as well, I do seem to remember that this was the same artwork on that, but that's a side issue. Now, the actual record itself, it is a coloured record, and a lot of the time when you get these, the quality sometimes suffers. You might get surface noise, for example. This one, on the other hand, I didn't really have a problem with it. I have a decent record system. I don't have one of those god-awful, gimmicky Crosley Cruiser type record players. I have a decent system, so obviously, if there was any issue with this, I'd really be able to pick up on it. Maybe a little bit of surface noise more than normal, but, you know, it was fine. And I'd say it's a collector's edition. I'm happy to put up with that. Now, you do get two with this. Obviously, I got one out here just for the demonstration purposes, but there you go. And you get this booklet as well. So I do also have Spectre, the soundtrack, on vinyl, and hi, you can see a reflection of me there as well. But I haven't actually taken this one out yet and listened to it, so we'll see about that maybe in a future review. So finally, here's the booklet anyway, and there's nothing actually written in this. It's all just illustrated like this here. So as I go through this, let's have a look. Now, Thomas Newman, this was the first James Bond score that he did. Now, the second one was Spectre. I think Thomas Newman was pretty much brought in to cover for David Arnold, who had done all of the James Bond scores from Tomorrow Never Dies right up to Quantum of Solace. So from 1997 to 2008. David Arnold did the James Bond scores, but then Thomas Newman took over in 2012 with Skyfall, and I think that was because David Arnold was busy doing the London Olympics, something for that. And also I know that Thomas Newman has worked quite a lot with Sam Mendes, and Sam Mendes was the director of this film and Spectre, so it makes sense that he did the score for these. Now, I'd always thought that David Arnold was the best James Bond score composer of recent times anyway, since John Barry left the scene back in 1987. His last score was The Living Daylights for the James Bond franchise, and David Arnold seemed to be the man for the James Bond scores. But then I heard this and I thought, wow, this is even better than what David Arnold had given us previously, if that's even possible. So we'll see where the franchise goes for the next film score, because Sam Mendes is not directing the next one as far as I'm aware, so we shall see if Thomas Newman comes back. One thing I do think about the Spectre score, it kind of suffered a little bit that it was repeating a lot of the same music from Skyfall, but that wasn't necessarily a bad thing. But if he's just going to do that again, then maybe get somebody new. But there you go anyway, that's this record. Really nice collector's item. Like I say, I believe this is the American version, because it does say there, first time on vinyl in the US. So I got this imported. That's probably why it took about 2 weeks to arrive. But really nice, really good deal for £20 odd. If you manage to get this that cheap, I definitely recommend you pick this up. Even if you're not a hardcore James Bond fan like me, just a really nice record, really nice artwork to have in your collection, even if you're just a casual fan of the James Bond franchise. And it is a great soundtrack as well, like I say. So I'll pretty much leave it there. I could ramble on for ages talking about James Bond and Bond themes and music and stuff, but I think I've pretty much covered it. So we'll see if there's anything special about Spectre to talk about in the next video. I will possibly do so. So check back, Brandix Reviews. You can follow us on YouTube, obviously, Instagram and Facebook. But for now, I'll just leave it there and say thank you very much for watching. Bye.